Welcome back to the channel, Decoders. Hope you guys are all well today. In today's quick live stream, we're going to cover yesterday's beginning of the NFL season. And as some of you have probably already seen, the huge numerical riddles that went along with it. Of course, this is nothing new. The NFL has been known to do some pretty blatant number riddles. So, to everyone who's going to tune in and watch this, I appreciate you all. Hope you guys are all well today. And we're going to talk about the game yesterday, but we're also going to talk about the NFL season a little bit and what could possibly happen by the Super Bowl. Please hit the likes if you're just getting in. And then I'm going to cover a mind-blowing code connected to frequency that really no one is probably aware of yet, but I think we're going to dive into some new things. In fact, this is probably going to be just my first video of this topic. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys are all well out there today. And I'm not going to, not going to make this too long of a stream. Hello to Coffee Girl. Thank you for the thumbs up. Hello to Cable X. Hello to Randall. So we got a lot to talk about. People are already asking who's going to be in Super Bowl 60. You guys are funny. So anyways, let's just get into it. I don't want to make this too drawn out. I got kind of a lot I want to talk about. So we're going to talk about what I'm going to call the love hurts. And we're going to show how yesterday's game was all connected to Jalen Hurts and how it connects to frequency and how the music hurts that they use to control our industry might be defective and might be causing us harm, okay? And considering that two musicians were involved in this riddle, specifically one of the most famous musicians there, or two of the most famous musicians on the planet, Jay-Z and Beyonce, well, then I think that this is probably all connected to vibration and frequency. And we're going to show kind of how this connects to the game itself and how it connects to the football player, Jalen Hurts. So yeah, please hit those like buttons, guys, and let's get into it. So let's talk about the obvious stuff first that everyone has already talked about. And it's not because I didn't copy their work, guys. I was seeing this. This stuff is so blatant that we all saw it at the same time. Let me just give a big shout out to The Illusion. He already did a video on this like right after it happened. Go watch his video, Monumental 4 Ritual. Just go watch it, okay? Big shout out to him. I did take some of my inspiration from him for a few things. And go subscribe also to my buddy Ball Don't Lie, who also did a video, but he covered the Hawk Tua connection. And guys, if you watch his video, you guys will probably say that, yeah, there's definitely a Hawk Tua girl connection to this game last night. So definitely go check out those two videos. And yeah, we're going to dive into it. Just wanted to give a few shout outs first. All right, so yesterday's game was all about the number 4. And it's so hard if you have to be completely asleep not to see it, okay? So the first thing I have to mention is the game was on the 4th of the month, okay? September 4th. The game ended with 44 total points. 24 plus 20 is 44. That means that the game had a 4-point differential. So there was a 44-point total with a 4-point differential. And this all happened on the 4th of the month. And this all happened when the losing quarterback wears the number 4. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. And just to give a sneak peek of what we're going to go into, because the other quarterback last night was Jalen Hurts. And he's from the city of brotherly love. And we're going to talk about this. Again, big shout out to AJ from Ball Don't Live. He's been on the riddle for love for a long time. And in this video, we're going to cover it. So what happened in the beginning of the game, before the game even really got started, the big story was that some guy named Jalen Carter spit on number 4, Dak Prescott. He spit on him. Like that Hawk Tua. You got to Hawk Tua and spit on that, you know? So again, go check out Ball Don't Lie's video about the Hawk Tua connection because he covered it perfectly. So anyway, when this guy spit on number 4, his name is Jalen Carter. Okay, right here it says Jalen Carter ejected for spitting on Dak Prescott. Jalen Carter equals 44, and he spit on number 4. Well, number 4 wears 4 4s on his jersey, like the number 44, right? He's got one here, he's got one on each shoulder, and he's got one on his back. So the guy literally wears 4 4s on his shirt, like the number 44. And he gets spit on by number 44, or by a guy who equals number 44, right? And the word spit equals 44. Now, Jalen Carter doesn't only equal 44 in gematria. He's born on April 4th, which is, of course, 4-4. Notice that he's born in the year 2001. And the year 2001 is when 9/11 happened. And we're coming up on the anniversary of 9/11. And just while we're on the topic of 9/11, since Jalen Carter was born in the year of 2001, if you go, again, big shout out to The Illusion for reminding us of this. The Illusion showed us, and I already knew this, but he reminded us that if you go from the 1993 World Trade Center bombing to the actual date of 9/11, it's 3119 days. Well, 3119 is the 444th prime. So between the two incidents at the World Trade Center, it's separated by 444 prime days. So if you guys don't think the number 444 is big, well, there you go. Okay. So the fact that Jalen Carter was born in 2001 on 4/4, I don't think that's a coincidence. Now, the last time that the Cowboys and the Eagles played each other was on the death date of Jimmy Carter. Now, who's the guy who just spit on number 4 yesterday? His name is Jalen Carter. Now, Jimmy Carter died on 12/29/24. Well, that was the day that the Eagles last played the Cowboys, and they won 41-7. How about that? So literally the last time that they played before yesterday was the day of Jimmy Carter's death. And the first thing that happens in yesterday's game was a guy named Carter spits on number 4. And if you go from when Jimmy Carter left office in 1981 to the game yesterday, it was 44 years. And again, the final score added up to 44 points, and they had a weather delay at 4:44 left until the fourth quarter. So this weather delay happened at 4:44 in the third quarter, which means there was 4 minutes and 44 seconds left until the fourth quarter started. Because there's 4 quarters in football. Okay? But again, Jimmy Carter, he died the last time these two teams played. And remember the airplane crash in Korea on the same day that Jimmy Carter died, and Jimmy Carter's from Georgia? Well, Jimmy Carter, right, he died the last time they played, and he was from Georgia, Plains, Georgia. Remember how the planes crashed on 9/11? Well, the guy who spit yesterday, Carter, he's from Georgia, the same as Jimmy Carter. And they have the same initials, JC, like Jesus Christ, right? JC, Jimmy Carter, Jalen Carter. But Jalen Carter is from Georgia. His name equals 44, like the state he's from equals 44. And again, he spit on Dak Prescott, who wears 4. So Jimmy Carter was a big part of this ritual. And I'm not sure why this screen's white. Hold on, guys. Let me reload this. My thing is acting up here. All right, so we just made the connection between the football player Jalen Carter, who spit on number 4, and Jimmy Carter. Well, and a big shout out to The Illusion also, and Ball Don't Lie. They also found this maybe before me even. I mean, I think the Illusion was the first one to find this. So big shout out to him. But look, this game happened on Beyonce Carter's, because her name is now Carter. She's married to Jay-Z, whose last name is Carter. This incident with Jalen Carter spitting happened on the 44th birthday of Beyonce. I mean, how much more obvious can you get than that? This happened on the 44th birthday of Beyonce, whose name is Carter now, and she did an album called Cowboy Carter, and this was against the Cowboys. And her husband made an album called 444. And what time did the lightning storm delay the game? It was at 4:44 on her 44th birthday when her husband has an album called 444. And the total score in the game was 20 plus 24, which equals 44. And that was the final score. They never scored any other points after this. If you guys watched the game, you would know that no one could miss every time they had the ball. They were scoring every time until the weather delay. And then after the weather delay, they didn't score 1 point, and they got stuck on 44 points for the rest of the game. Now, it was a lightning strikes that had to delay the game. Lightning equals 44, guys. Lightning. It was lightning that delayed the game at 4:44 with 44 points on the board, and lightning equals 44. And Jalen Carter, again, equals 44. He spit, and it was all connected to Jimmy Carter, who's, if you measure from when he left office to this game, it was 44 years. And again, Jay-Z has that 444 album. And Lucifer equals 444. Now, why is that important? Because lightning is how Lucifer gets to Earth. Lucifer comes to Earth with lightning, which brings us to this. Barack Obama, the 44th president. This 4 ritual happened 4 weeks and 4 days after Mr. 44's birthday, who's also born on the 4th. Guys, that's undeniable. 4 weeks and 4 days after the president number 44's birthday on the 4th. And Barack in the Strong's Concordance means lightning. Bama means from the heights, which means Lucifer falling with lightning, which equals 44, is all connected to the storm. Remember how Trump said the calm before the storm, right? Yeah, big shout out to Joseph Aquaviva. I don't know if he's in here, but you know Joseph is all about Obama, and we're going to talk more about Obama when we get to the Antichrist part. But again, 4 weeks and 4 days after the 44th president's birthday, he just turned 64 on the 4th. And this is what's wild, guys. So all these guys that I just connected are born on the 4th. Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Obama, all born on the 4th day of the month. Well, Jay-Z is also friends with Obama, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Jay-Z and Obama are kind of tight. So they're all born on the 4th, right? And this game yesterday happened on the 4th. Well, look at what 4th equals. 4th equals 444 in 2 ciphers. I mean, that's undeniable. The 4th equals 444 in Latin and reverse Sumerian. And you wonder why they had 4:44 left on the clock with 44 points up on the 4th of the month. When all these guys are born on the 4th. Yeah, and I forgot even to mention the 4th of July. The nation's birthday is on the 4th. Think about that. Now, we're going to talk about a guy who wasn't even involved in yesterday's game, but it could be all pointing to this guy, Patrick Mahomes. Remember, last year's Super Bowl, was between Jalen Hurts and Mahomes. Now, Mahomes lost, and the city of brotherly love won. Jalen Hurts, right? The frequency I'm going to talk about. Mahomes equals 444, my friends. And this whole thing was about the 444. Mahomes equals 444. Now, this is the key. If the Chiefs were to make it to the Super Bowl again this year, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if they were to come again in the fourth straight year, this would be the Chiefs' fourth year in a row making it to the Super Bowl. So it would be their fourth Super Bowl in 4 years. And because Mahomes has lost, because he lost the Super Bowl, if he were to win this year's Super Bowl, he would win his fourth Super Bowl. So think about that. If Mahomes and the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl, it would be their fourth Super Bowl in 4 years, and Mahomes could win his fourth Super Bowl. And this whole first game of the season was connected to the 444, and Mahomes equals 444. Like Jesus, like Lucifer. Remember, let's go back to the Lucifer thing. Lucifer. 444. And again, I already made the lightning connection. It was a lightning storm. Lucifer comes in lightning. Lucifer equals 444. Jesus equals 444. And again, Mahomes. So just think about that for a second. And think about how it's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's possible that the Chiefs go to their fourth straight Super Bowl and Mahomes could win his fourth Super Bowl. It's possible. Also, this is going to be Super Bowl 60. If you type out the word 4, it equals 60. So is that maybe another reason why the first game of the season was all about the number 4, because 4 equals 60 in the base cipher? And we're coming up on Super Bowl 60, where the 49ers play, the 49ers. This game was on 4/9. All right, so now we have to go back to last year's Super Bowl. Mahomes and Hurts. And Patrick Mahomes lost to Hurts, right? That was in this year, the Super Bowl earlier this year. And let me show you how this is all a frequency. They're telling us about frequencies. And I don't think there's any question. But look at this. Jalen Hurts, like the Hertz frequency, right? This game stopped with a lightning storm, electromagnetic, right? Like more energy, right? Oh, I forgot the word energy. I totally forgot the word energy equals 444. So it's all about energy, guys, frequency. What do you think football is? It's an energy harvest. It harvests energy. So they stopped the clock with 444 left, and the word energy equals 444. But back to the Hurts thing. So since Jalen Hurts won yesterday, look at this. Frequency equals 444 in satanic. So the Mr. Hurts, he wins in a 444 ritual, and the word frequency has that 444. And we're going to get into the love frequency, because how many times has this character, Jalen Hurts, been connected to Love Hurts? Remember that song by Nazareth called Love Hurts? Well, here's what they said last night. If you guys go watch the delay, during the weather delay, listen to the announcers talk about Jalen Hurts and Michael Jordan and his Love Hurts brand. I mean, it's undeniable, guys. We made this connection last year. Let me go to Gematronators page. If you guys don't know Gematronator, make sure you guys go check him out. If you scroll down his videos, again, this was, look how long ago this was. Look at this, over a year, 11 months ago, guys. Love Hurts. This game was in Brazil, and it featured the quarterback Love versus Hurts. And we talked about this 11 months ago. And now Jalen Hurts is coming out with a campaign with Jordan sneakers called Love Hurts. And during the game between Love and Hurts, Jordan Love got hurt last year. You guys believe this? Jordan Love got hurt during the game with Love and Hurts. And now they're promoting the brand from Michael Jordan called Love Hurts. And again, in Latin gematria, Jordan equals love. You guys see this? Jordan and love equal the same in Latin, right? So yesterday during the game, they had to mention the Love Hurts brand. Look at this. The phrase Love Hurts symbolizes Hurts' journey and challenges. And Michael Jordan attended the game as Hurts' guests. So Michael Jordan was at the game last night because of Hurts. Hurts is a prominent Jordan brand athlete and personal friend of Jordan. He has custom Air Jordan 11s called Love Hurts. He wore the cleats in his season opener against the Cowboys yesterday. Yeah, thank you for the other 444s. Holiday equals 444. Jewish equals 444. Occult, I believe, equals 444. Jesus, Lucifer, Messiah, Gospel, Cross, Parables, they all equal 444. But yeah. So now that we know that there's a Love Hurts riddle, we have to read about 440 hertz, 432 hertz, and 528. So this is where you guys want to pay attention. I found something that proves this is all about frequency, guys. According to an article from Global News, the powers that be successfully lowering vibrations of not only the young generation, but the rest of us through destructive frequencies that entrain the thoughts towards disruption, disharmony, and disunity. So let's read. In 1953, 440 hertz became the pitch standard for musical instruments. That means that 440 became the pitch standard. Okay, now what does that mean? A440 is a musical pitch corresponding to an audio frequency of 440 hertz. Hold on a second, guys. Anyways, 440 hertz is, what does it mean? It means it serves as a tuning standard for a musical note of A above middle C. A above middle C. What does that mean? Well, let's read, or let's look. So 440 hertz became the standard . 440 hertz became the standard for the A above middle C. Do you guys see why Antichrist equals 440 now? The current music industry uses 440 hertz. Think about it. Musician. Was not Lucifer a musician? Did they not change the standard pitch tuning to 440 hertz, which is above A, above middle C? Do you guys get it? A above middle C. AC, like Antichrist. And Antichrist equals 440, like the hertz. A 440. And this is supposedly the frequency that causes all of us to be super down on ourselves. Why is everyone so depressed nowadays? Why are you guys all so suppressed or so depressed? Why is everyone so sad? Don't you think it's because we're not in harmony with anything? Don't you think it's because we're not in harmony? We're using microwaves on everything. Stop using microwaves, guys. First of all, we need to get away from technology as well. Of course, here I am on technology, using technology, but the music we listen to is supposedly tuned to the Antichrist hertz, which is not going to help your body. It's not going to help you feel less depressed. It's probably going to help you feel more depressed. Why do you think people, I'm not saying everyone is unhappy nowadays, but I'm just telling you guys, the majority of people I know are super sad. Every day I'm running across people that are super sad and down, and I really don't know what to say anymore other than I feel bad. I don't feel sad because I know that my salvation is not here, and I'm not sad at all. Nothing can take me down because Jesus is the frequency that I rest in, right? If there's anything, and just notice that on this thing, they made the clip for this frequency 4 seconds long. Of course, they made it 4 seconds long. So anyway, I'm just telling you, we're not in harmony with anything, guys. We are not in harmony with God. We are not in harmony with the nature. We're not in harmony with anything. We're creating a bunch of crap in our lives, cluttering our lives with crap we don't need and frequencies we don't need, and we need to stop. If you want to be happy, you need to stop cluttering yourself, and you need to free yourself in God and free yourself from all that attachment, okay? Like, I honestly don't listen to much music anymore because, I don't know, maybe just something feels off about it. But maybe this explains why. So the 440 hertz is the Antichrist hertz, right? And it's the one that people are saying is causing effects that they're not helping, right? And notice it says in 1953. Well, that was the year that Queen Elizabeth became queen. And notice that they said that in 1926. So this has something to do with Queen Elizabeth because 440 hertz was standardized in America the year Queen Elizabeth was born. And here it says it became the pitch standard in 1953, which was the year that Queen Elizabeth was coronated. So there's something going on with Queen Elizabeth. Supposedly no one knows for certain why this new frequency was chosen as a tuning standard. The article discusses, without going too far down the rabbit hole, that there's other frequencies that are more helpful to our bodies. 432 hertz, 438 hertz, and 528 hertz. Adherents to this theory claim that more natural frequency above middle A is 432 hertz, also known as Verdi's A, because it's a pure tone and a mathematical fundamental in nature and mathematically consistent with patterns of the universe that God created, vibrating with phi, the golden ratio. They point to how this pitch can be connected to everything from nautilus shells to the works of the ancients and including the destruction or the construction of the Great Pyramid. 432 hertz resonates at 8 hertz, which is the Schumann resonance. And notice that all these words are German. And I always try to point out just how important German is. Why do all of these things have German names. Schumann is German. Hertz is German. It's all German. Okay, that's why I'm telling you, Germany is the center point of all the stuff in this world, guys. Germany is so big, and no one talks enough about Germany. Everything goes back to Germany if you really look into it, which really goes back to the Roman Empire and Italy, right? Italy and Germany is right there in that same area. Okay. So anyway, what we found out here is that 440 hertz, look at this, look what it says here. According to a theory, says Global, all music at 440 hertz turns it into a military weapon. That propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels insisted that 440 hertz tuning in Germany because he believed it made people think and feel specific ways, making them a prisoner of a certain consciousness. Wow. So the guy who wanted to have this frequency, 440, he said that they want there to be 440 hertz music because it's a military weapon and it keeps people stuck as a prisoner in their own minds. I don't know. I don't know why he would say that unless it was true. And again, I just said Germany. Where is Joseph Goebbels from? Well, he's German. The Nazis never died, guys. We're still under their control right now. Don't you see? We're all under the Nazis' control right now, still. Why do you think Elon Musk did the Nazi salute? Why do you think all the scientists, all the mind control scientists, all the rocket scientists, okay, they're German. Almost all of them are German. Like, I bet you if you looked at all the major people for NASA and mind control techniques and music, a lot of it goes back to German people coming from Germany or from something like that in that area. All right, so now look at this. They said that 528 hertz is a more acceptable frequency. It's a more natural frequency. They call it the love and miracle frequency. 528. So this is where my mind got blown, guys. I started looking into Jalen Hurts because he's doing all this stuff on Love Hurts. Remember his campaign that he's running? Which is literally pointing you to a love hertz, which is a love frequency. Now, what is the frequency that everyone says is about love? It's 528. So let's look at something and see how this is all connected with the number 528. And again, don't forget, Jalen Hurts plays for the city of brotherly love. And the love frequency is 528 hertz, supposedly. Now, I told you last year, Mahomes. Now, how does Mahomes, and a big shout out to Rambo from the Truth Codes. He once shared, I don't remember all the details, he shared the word ohm, like Mahomes, right? Ohm is a polysemous symbol representing a sacred sound or a mantra. Okay, so now we got vibration again, right? Sounds, ohms, Mahomes. And guys, go subscribe to Rambo's Patreon if you guys want to go back and watch his video on the Mahomes connection to the ohm. So you have Mahomes and you have Hertz. Both these guys have a kind of a connection to sound frequency. And look at what I found, guys. If you go back 520, again, the love frequency is 528, right? Like Jalen Hurts is all about love Hurts, right? Go back 528 days from his birth on August 7, 1998. You land on 2/25, 1997. The quarterback that he faced in the Super Bowl last year was Mahomes. If you go forward from Mahomes' birth, 528 days, it lands on the same day, my friends. I don't think you guys realize how big this is until you let it sink in. I just laid out how the connection with love hertz is 528 hertz. And you're telling me that these two quarterbacks, if you go forward from Mahomes, 528, and you go backward from Hertz, 528, it lands on the same day, which means that their birthdays are perfectly placed in order to get this result. In order to get this number. And these two are the quarterbacks who played each other in the year 2025. And what date does this land on? 225. Just like we're in the year 225. This is the year that these two quarterbacks faced each other. And if you go 528 days back and 528 days forward, they land on the same day, which is the love hertz. And this is a Venus year, 225. How many? Remember, love is Venus. A Venus year. How many days is in a Venus year? Let me just show you. A Venus year is 225 days. So if you go the love frequency 528 days back from Hertz and forward from Mahomes, it lands on 225, which not only is the year, but it's also the amount of days in a Venus year. And Venus is the goddess of love. Do you guys see how it all comes together? Do you guys see that this has always been about frequency too? This proves why these two quarterbacks just faced each other this year in the Super Bowl. And are they going to do it again? That's the question. Are they going to have them face each other again? That's a theory I have. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but could these two quarterbacks, Love and Mahomes, or Hurts and Mahomes, could they be facing each other again next year? Or was it just all about this year, 2025, because of the 225, the Venus year, right? So again, this cannot be a coincidence. Out of all the days these two guys could be born, they're born on the perfect days to go right to the heart. So this date, 225, if anyone knows anything about this date, it's obviously important. Now, what makes me think about this date is because we're in the year 2025 right now, and this was in 97. Well, the number 97 is the 25th prime number, and in a few days on 9/7, we're going to have a blood moon. I just talked about the number 25 in connection to a blood moon. So this is a huge number for this year, 22597. This is literally the date of the blood moon this year. So there's more to be had. There's more to find out about this Hertz. But I know I'm going to try out. Since I'm a guitar player, I'm going to try to tune a guitar to 432 hertz, right? Maybe there's a healing frequency for the body, right? Maybe the body is not supposed to operate on man-chosen frequencies. Maybe we're supposed to operate on a natural frequency like nature. Maybe that's why when we go out in nature and we hear the sounds of nature, maybe that's why we calm down. What's the main thing that makes you calm down in nature? Is it not the sounds? The sounds of the silence with the buzzing of the birds and the bees and all that? Is it not that frequency, that sound that makes you calm down? And then the sights of the beauty, But mainly it's the sound. Why do you think Trump got shot in the ear? Well, 7-1 is also in the chat. He's mentioning that we also have, so let me just bring up the solfeggios. So the solfeggio frequencies are 963, 852. Now, 852, as 7-1 is saying in the chat, is connected to the flower of life and the third eye. Well, what do you think Jalen Hurts equals in gematria? Hold on. I know he equals that. Oh, so Jalen Hurts equals 852. Now, this is just a rearranging of the 528, but there's another frequency that's connected with the third eye called 852 hertz. And Jalen Hurts equals 852. What a coinky dink. What a coincidence. 852 is the hertz, and that's the third eye chakra, 852. I have a lot to look into with this, but I can tell you that there's much we don't know in this gematria community. We cannot just focus on gematria. Gematria means geometry and language, which means we have to focus on actual geometry. And I really recommend this channel because this guy actually teaches real geometry and shows real secrets that helps you understand more about what some of these numbers mean. For instance, the number 144 is connected to light. And if you go back in his videos, right here, 432 hertz, he talks about it. Sacred geometry, 432, a deep dive. Go watch this video, guys. You can see I already watched it. I just talked about the 432. This guy is a real mathematician. Guys, here in the gematria community, we're not really mathematicians. This guy is a master in geometry and math and symbolism. And I'm telling you, if you watch some of his videos, you'll start understanding stuff a little bit more about why gematria even works. Because gematria is geometry and language. Geometry, sacred geometry. But I'm going to be talking about this guy's stuff a lot from now on because this guy is pointing us on a much deeper path than just decoding a gematria calculation. Not that that's bad. We've proven that these things happen by the numbers. But if we can take this deeper, then we should. And this guy also shows something absolutely phenomenal in the golden ratio, how it's a pattern of 24 in the golden ratio. It's absolutely phenomenal, guys. There is a true pattern in the golden ratio that goes in 24 patterns. And it all goes back to the number 9. 9 is such a special number. But if you watch one of his videos, let me see if I can find it. And look at this video, guys. He has a video called I Want to Know What Love Is. And I watched this video, and I'm still a bit new to this. So, I mean, it's been a long time since I did actual geometry and math, so I'm learning as I go. But look at this. I want to know what love is. And he shows, based off the gematria of the circle and the phi golden ratio, how the measurement of love, I mean, you guys just got to watch the video, okay? This is truly where we should be going with this info. We should be connecting gematria to true geometry and true numbers, like that are actually part of geometry and stuff like that. The golden ratio is so important, guys. And yeah, Tesla said, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, you got to understand vibration, right? Didn't he say that? Tesla, secrets of the universe. Let's just see if I can find the quote. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Huh. What did I just decode in this decode? I just showed you how it's all about frequency, Remember how I showed you frequency equals 444? And yeah, so frequency equals 444. And yesterday was all about hertz frequency. The clock stopped at 444 for an energy storm, like a lightning storm, which is energy. Energy equals 444. Lucifer comes in energy like lightning. So Tesla said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency and vibration. So these people obviously, this is, who knows? And in the 369, I don't know as much about that yet, but well, I mean, I do. I've looked into it a bit, but it doesn't matter. The point is, all this is connected. It seems like to the number 4. It seems like the number 4 is pretty important. And the number 4 looks a lot like a triangle. And you'll notice in this video, when he says, I want to know what love is, he's solving for a triangle. And to be honest, guys, I think the reason a lot of people are so down nowadays is because they don't have a passion for learning. If you spend all day learning and enjoying the process of learning, which I do, it's hard to get distracted by all the crazy stuff going on, because even though there is a bunch of crazy crap going on in this world, if you stay focused on growing in God, reading the Bible, learning things that expand your mind, just learning in general, then how can you be like taken down by that? Like, to me, it's I know it's hard, this life right now, but I'm trying to bring a positive spin on it for people, and kind of, we can really make this world better, at least as much as we can in our own lives. But that would be true love. I'm not talking about romantic love. I'm not talking about romantic love. I'm talking about God's love, agape. There's you gotta kind of clarify what kind of love you're talking about. But and considering the fact that my friend Ball Don't Lie also did a video how it connects to Hawk Tuah, and Hawk Tuah is connected to vulgar things, which also is connected to a form of love, but not a higher love. So it all does really go back to a love. That's why in Corinthians 13 it says love is the greatest. Let's just read that Corinthians 13. KJV. Oh, look at this. The first verse in the love chapter in the Bible is, though I speak. Or what does that mean? You make sounds. We're talking about frequency again, guys. You're making sounds. Though I speak with tongues of men and angels and have not charity or love, I am become a sounding brass and a tinkling cymbal. Those are also forms of frequencies. You make sound. So the first verse of the love chapter actually mentions sounds, like frequencies. But if I make these sounds and don't have love, true love, I'm just a sounding brass. So I'm just making empty sounds. Is that what this 440 hertz is? It's making us feel empty because it's missing something. It's missing God's natural energy in it. Maybe that's why they changed it to 440. Maybe that's why Antichrist equals 440. Maybe we're all listening to 440 and we shouldn't really be. Maybe we should be listening to a more natural sounds. I don't know. And though I have a gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and have all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not love or charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all goods, my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have no charity, it profit me nothing. Love suffers long, it is kind. Charity, love envies not. Charity. I need to decode this word because they use this word. Charity. Yeah, I was just interested to see what this equal because this is the word they actually use. Charity. 84. How about that? I'll have to think more about, I'll have to look more into that. But anyways, this is one of the most beautiful parts of the Bible, in my opinion. And now abideth faith, hope, and charity, these things, but the greatest of these is charity, which is another word for love here, but not the romantic love. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away with. That's a strong verse right there. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. So no more partiality, guys. No more in part. No more feeling separated from God. That which is perfect and whole and full, when that comes, there's no more feeling separate, no more feeling down, no more feeling like you're lost in a sea of nothingness. Because that nothingness, that perfectionness becomes perfection and fullness. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, and I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. So, I mean, we've got all this stuff with frequencies, and I do not think it's a coincidence that the love chapter starts with talking about sounds and symbols and tongues, which makes sounds. Speaking is a sound. Again, kind of pointing to frequency. So I'm just kind of thinking, guys, when I listen to music, maybe I'm going to start creating my own music at 432 hertz and see how I feel. I don't know. I already feel pretty good, but maybe there's something to this. Maybe the 440 Antichrist, maybe it's making us feel worse. Maybe it's affecting our body. And I'm not just trying to say this because I'm just trying to make us healthier, make us feel better in our bodies. A lot of people are dealing with physical stuff, but like a lot of people also depressed. Maybe it's because we're surrounding ourselves with the wrong stuff. We're surrounding our stuff with the wrong things. Be wiser what we take in. And that's why I think like microwaves, I mentioned that before. Microwaves are so like, you really think it's good to eat microwave food? I don't think so. I mean, maybe somebody can give me a different view on that, but I just don't think it's healthy to eat microwave food. It's not healthy to overcook your food. First of all, you don't want to overcook your food in general. Cooking takes the actual energy out of the food. You should be eating more raw food. I try eating more raw food lately. Try making more salsas and more fresh salads. And I make salsa every day now, like a fresh salsa with some fresh cilantro, tomatoes from the garden. It's so good, guys. Make a salsa, a fresh salsa. It takes like 10 minutes. And like, you don't have to cook it, You don't have to. I don't know why we're so obsessed with cooking foods to the black. Do we want to eat food that's completely burnt to a crisp? Of course, frying food is also not good. I would stop eating fried food. I try not to eat barely any of that. But yeah, going back to the 440, maybe this 440 hertz. And again, let's read what this guy said. And I just don't feel like it's a good idea to use wireless earbuds, guys. I really don't think it's a good idea to use wireless earbuds. Yeah, the illusion. You can put baking soda. So for all the chemicals on your fruits, Soak your vegetables and fruits in baking soda before you eat them. In water with baking soda, it takes away a lot of the acidity from those acids, those chemicals. You should be washing your fruits and vegetables in baking soda if you can't get organic. But even organic is not probably not very organic. Okay, vinegar or baking soda, I think both work, but I do that every time. I soak the tomatoes, unless they're from my garden, then I don't really do that. But my mom's garden. But yeah, let's read what this guy said one more time about this 440 hertz. According to a theory, all music is 440 hertz, is tuned to it turns it into a military weapon. And that propaganda minister, Joseph Goebbels, insisted that 440 hertz tuning in Germany because he believed it made people think and feel specific ways, making them a prisoner of a certain consciousness. Guys, why do you think so many people can't wake up to this stuff? Because they're bombarded with chemicals and frequencies that's literally keeping them a prisoner. It's almost not even their fault anymore. Their own bodies are being attacked, so to the point that they can't even think straight. So how are they even going to get closer to God and get closer to the truth they can't even think straight. Their minds don't even work anymore. They're turning into basically animals at this point. They're stuck in a certain way of thinking, and maybe it's because they're surrounded with all this crap, you know. Because yeah, it's only going to take true power and prayer and love to bring these people out, because I don't really even think it's their fault anymore. I mean, it is, but people, their minds are so altered now that they can't think clearly. I'm blessed to be with a group of people like you guys who, by the grace of God, and at least that you guys we can see clearly and we can search for the truth. With some of these people, they're so blinded, you know, it's hard to believe that there's a way out, you know. But again, that's why we're here every day trying to help people, you know. So anyway, I went on a rant. I hope you guys didn't hate my rant. Sorry. But yeah, I just thought those are some things I wanted to say. I got a lot of energy in me today. But yeah, make sure you guys go check out the Illusions video also on this game yesterday. Much love to you, brother. And yeah, I mean, I just want to see people happy and healthy. You know, I'm getting so tired of seeing so. I came back to the United States, guys, and I went to Walmart. Of course, I know I'm not expecting much for Walmart, but when I went to Walmart, I saw people that looked overweight, unhealthy, super depressed. I can just feel their energy. I can feel that they're not happy, and they don't look healthy in their body either. And I'm like, what is going on here? Are we really being poisoned to the point where people are they're looking 20 years older than they really even are? And they're 2 times the weight they should be, or sometimes even 3 times the weight they should be. And this is almost like everybody, guys. There's very little people anymore that look healthy or happy. You know, unless you go to like these places in California where all these gym heads are at, where all they do is care about is their body and getting a girl for the night. Then that's why they keep their bodies nice. But for the most part, a huge portion of, you know, it's not just in the United States, but in the United States, it's worse. Okay. Europe is not so bad, at least not with like overweight, unhealthy people. Sojourn says Ohio is the, what is that word? Payest. I'm not really sure. So sorry, Sojourn. I'm not really sure what that word means. So Gene Splice says vinegar is better than baking soda. So the toxic pesticides are negated by acids and enhanced by alkalines. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look more into that too. I use either one sometimes. Yeah, well, the biggest thing is, guys, try to eat more fresh foods and not overcook your food, because when you cook food, it creates harmful chemicals. Okay? Cooking food creates harmful chemicals, which creates an acidic body, which creates disease. Okay? Don't eat so much cooked food. And if you're going to eat fresh food, try to eat it. And if you're going to eat meat, try to eat it less cooked, right? Don't overcook it. Um, and your vegetables, seed oils are bad. Yes, that's another one. Yeah, I don't need any seed oils really at this point at all, unless I'm eating like a chip that has some in there. Because I make my fresh salsa and I eat these chips, but they're relatively healthy chips though. They're not so bad. Sojourn says I eat local grass-fed beef. Well, that's probably why. See, everyone in the chat, you guys probably all eat so well. That's probably why you guys are all more aware. I mean, I'm not saying that just because you eat good, you're more aware, but it might have something to do with it. I mean, I'm a little tight on money right now, so I don't eat all grass-fed meat, but if I had enough money, I would eat more grass-fed meat. Yeah, some people don't like meat that's less cooked. I get it. Somebody says, did you see my post on Salai? Oh, no, I didn't see it. Where did you post that? I'll have to find that. Try to eat food with one ingredient. Yeah. Yeah, well, baking soda will help you with heartburn because baking soda is alkaline and it's going to neutralize your acid. So I would not say you want to overdo it with the baking soda, because you're probably at risk of suppressing your stomach acids. You might feel better from using baking soda at first because it takes away the acidity of your acid, but I wouldn't use it every day because you need to build up your stomach acid. Another thing that's good to use for digestion is honey. Honey is very good at repairing the inside, and I drink kefir every day. So let me type that in the chat. Kefir. Kefir has really helped me with it has protein. It's very good for the digestion. It's better than milk because it takes away the lactose effect. So I drink a lot of kefir. I just put that in the chat. I think it's called kefir. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Kefir. But yeah, kefir and honey, great for digestion. That's what I've been on that, because in the Balkan countries like Serbia, Albania, where I was at, they have kefir everywhere. And that's why everyone there probably everyone in the Balkans, they're super tall and look super healthy. Well, not everyone, but I think it has something to do with, their stuff is less processed, and they do drink a lot of yogurt and kefir there. So probiotics, good for your stomach. Yeah, I used to be into health and stuff. I'm not so much anymore, but here I am in this video getting on a health rant, and I really didn't mean to do that. But thank you to the 115 of you who are still in here. And I got 78 likes. If you guys would like to help me get to 100 likes before the stream's over, that would be great. I mean, I know the information in this video has to be worth something. Obvious with the fours and the Hertz stuff. I would probably advise, if you guys want to do kefir, try to make your own. It gets expensive. It gets expensive when you have to buy it from the store all the time. But if you guys look up online how to make your own kefir, it's not hard. It's not hard. You just need to get some kefir grains and some milk, some grass-fed milk, or even regular milk if you don't have grass-fed. Support local family farms. Yeah, that's a very important thing nowadays. Yeah, use oregano, and it kills off bacteria, fungus, and parasites. Yeah, I've heard some mixed reviews on garlic. There's people coming out nowadays and saying that garlic is kind of not as good, maybe as you think. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. I think someone's knocking at the door, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching, and much love to you all, and God bless. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. So I gotta go get the door, but I'll see you guys soon, and God bless.